Claude Cowork is now available for Windows, originally only available for Mac. If you do any kind of work on a computer, you should go download it and start using it right now. Get a glimpse of what the future is going to look like before it smacks us all in the face. If you haven't been keeping up with Claude Cowork or Opus 4.6, I think you're about to be very surprised of what AI is now capable of. The head of Microsoft AI was just asked how long before AI can do most knowledge work as well as a human. This includes essentially all the work that can be done by attorneys, accountants, and marketers like me. His response was 12 to 18 months. And based on what we've seen in the last 6 weeks, I think that's probably about right. So I want to share some real examples of how I've used Cowork just in the last few days. And then I want to talk more broadly about how I think this is going to change the way we work. The first thing I did is I wanted Claude Cowork to put together a slide deck for me that I could use on client discovery calls. Because I know most agencies have some kind of presentation they give, and I'm always just winging it. So I asked Cowork to look through all the meeting transcripts I have. I have a couple hundred, and just find the ones that were discovery calls, probably about 50 of them. Look through my typical talking point and put together a generic presentation that I could give on future discovery calls. I asked it all that in a single prompt, and it worked for about 9 minutes and brought back just a beautiful presentation. That would have easily been an entire day's worth of work, and it did a better job than I could have. Next use case, I have a client that wants to build a directory website featuring all the businesses in his industry within New York City. He figured we could scrape Google Business Profile for the important information, but I figured Claude Cowork could probably do one step better. In this case, my prompt to Claude was only 2 sentences. It took about 10 minutes, and it came back with 50 businesses in New York City and about 20 pieces of data on each of them. It looked through dozens of sources to collect all the data. And by the way, it also builds beautiful spreadsheets. And the last use case I'll share, I have a new client with over 1,000 blog posts on their website. I pulled the data we have in Google Search Console and Ahrefs and gave it to Claude. Now, before Opus 4.6, I never would have given a large language model 1,000 rows with about a dozen columns of data to sort through. But I knew 4.6 could handle a lot of data, and I wanted to put it to the test. I asked it to identify all the bottom of the funnel transactional blog topics. Without going into too much detail, I had it evaluate all the data I gave it to figure out which of these posts could be optimized to perform better, and then to come up with about 300 additional topics that are likely to perform well. The results were just amazing. It was better than anything I could have come up with in a few hours with any other large language model. The 3 things that have been especially impressive to me so far is 1, how few mistakes it makes. Yes, it does still make a few mistakes here and there, but I don't think any more so than the average professional. 2, it has really good judgment. I rarely find myself disagreeing with the decisions it makes, and it's not uncommon that it catches some oversight that I didn't catch. And 3 is just how much context it can handle. I've yet to overwhelm it with providing too much information. This isn't just the biggest step change we've seen in capabilities since ChatGPT. I'm pretty optimistic on AI, and I truly thought that this level of capability was about a year away. So I still think knowledge workers like me have a place in our economy for the next 1 to 2 years. Most people don't want to figure out how to deal with AI. However, I don't think we have a place for knowledge workers that aren't using AI for much longer. We're moving very quickly into a world where if you understand how to use AI, you could do essentially any white-collar job well. And if you don't know how to use AI, you'll be essentially useless as a knowledge worker. I'm not saying that using AI will be the only skill that matters, but I think it'll definitely be the most important skill. And I say all this as I'm currently hiring humans. But I'm hiring humans to understand how to use AI, and then I'm training them to use it even more. 2026 is certainly going to be the strangest year in our economy, except for every year that comes after that.